In this tutorial for Team Yankee, I'm going to discuss how you test a counterattack, how you counterattack, and also how you break off. So let's go through our assault step again, and we're going to pretend like you're the attacker. So you charge into contact. The opponent does defensive fire. If you survive that, then you're going to roll your hits in the assault. They're going to roll their saves. You can push in enemy positions, check, see if the assault over. For this video, we're going to test to counterattack and whether you counterattack or break off. So let's set up a situation here how we test to counterattack. So we had some Soviets that came in and they assaulted these Americans, and they made it through all the defensive fire and stuff like that, stuff I've already covered in the other videos. And they do their assault and take out two of these. Is the assault over? And actually, I'm going to throw some Abrams out here. Is the assault over? Well, I've already talked about, you check, are there any enemy teams within 4 inches of the assaulting team? Yes. So the assault is not over. What happens now is they get to test to counterattack. And how that works is you go to your card and there's a counterattack number. So this one has a counterattack number 4, and the Abrams, which can move into assault because they're within 4 inches, so they can join this assault, have a counterattack of 4. So the defending player rolls 1 die and applies it to all their units that can possibly join the assault or are already in the assault. So with a 1, they're all going to break off. And I'll get to break off in this video just a little bit later. But let's say they rolled a 4, 5, or 6. So they rolled a 4. These guys can now join the assault and try to take some of these out. So what happens is the roles reverse now. Since they're starting to counterattack, they move in, which is going through our thing here. So they charge into contact now. They are now the defending teams. Opponent does defensive fire. Well, in this case, the only time you're going to do defensive fire is that first initial charge, like the Soviets charged the Americans. Americans did defensive fire. After that, no more defensive fire for this assault. Roll to hit. So that's where we're at right now. They're going to roll a hit to try to take some of these Soviets out. And roll saves if they had some tanks. Then they can move into enemy positions they destroyed. So the same thing happens here. It's really, defense fire does not occur anymore. So just keep that in mind. Now what we're going to look at is, I'm going to move these guys back, and we're going to pretend that these Americans, we're going to use this Soviet card for them, because I want to show different numbers. So if you look at counterattack, we're going to pretend they have a 3, and they have a 4. So if you roll a 4, well, that applies to both of them because 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 4, 5, 6. So the player has a choice. Do they want to move those in for the counterattack? Do they want to break off? Do they want to keep this one in counterattack, or do they want to break it off? They can say break off and bring these in. Or they can go, oh, we're all going to attack, or we're all going to break off. So you have the choice. You don't have to do one or the other. You can choose by unit. Are they going to counterattack, or are they going to break off? Now, if they rolled a 3, they will break off because I didn't get that 4 counterattack number. Now this player has choice because they were a 3. Do they stay or do they break off? If you roll a 2, they're both going to break off. So roll 1 die and apply it, but look at their numbers because some things may have different numbers in your units than others. Now what happens if we got some US back here and they are pinned down? Can they join this assault if the counterattack number was successful? Because if you're pinned down, you can't move closer to the enemy when you move, at least if they're in line of sight, and I've already gone over that in a video. But in assault, this doesn't really matter as far as moving into the enemy. Yes, they're going to move in because they want to take them out. But they'll still be pinned down when it's all over if they survive. So if you're pinned down, you can still, and you're within range, you can still join the assault. Now, let's say that there's this wall here, and they want to join this assault, so they have to do this. Now, remember when I did a video about this, that if they did their cross-check to initiate the assault, they did their cross-check, they took these guys out, they can cross it and don't have to do another cross-check because they've already done it. They started back here. They initiated the assault. They killed off a couple. They made their counterattack. They're ready to come back. Do they have to make a cross-check here? Yes, because they haven't tried to cross this yet. So they will have to do a cross-check. So we'll do red, white. Don't roll a 1. Didn't roll a 1. They both can go in. If one of them rolled a 1, let's say this one rolled a 1, it's going to go back that 2 inches from it and become bogged down, as usual. So just remember, if you haven't done that cross-check yet, you're going to have to do it. And so they come in, they take care of a couple. Is the assault over? No, because these guys are within 4, and there may be some others out here. So they're going to roll their counterattack and need a 3 or higher. They rolled a 2, break off, assault's over. However, if they roll a 4, they can break off, the assault's over, or they can go, no, we're going to try to take out this infantry and maybe bail out a tank. The assault is not over. If they're done, let's say they take these guys out, they're going to roll. They can decide, hey, we're going to come in and try to take these guys out. And it keeps going back and forth until one side is destroyed or one side breaks off. So it just keeps going back and forth until one side's destroyed or the other side breaks, one side breaks off. So that's how you counterattack. Just keep going back and forth, moving men in within 4 inches and so forth. But let's say we've got to break off. So how do you break off? So we're going to say these Abrams failed their counterattack, or maybe they made it and a person decides, I'm just going to pull them back. So what they do is you have to go at least 4 inches, more than 4 inches away from the opponent. Now, if you got normal movement, you could do it. If dash, because some things can't move more than 4 inches unless they dash. But they have to go until they're at least 4 inches away, more than 4 inches, so just a little bit more than 4 inches from those assaulting teams. And that's pretty much it. Move all of them away. Now we got a problem, and if you do that, you're okay. But let's say this tank is bogged down. It can't move. It's within 4 inches. It can't move. If after all that movement's done and the team's still within 4 inches of them, it is destroyed. Boom. So if you can't get more than 4 inches away from the assaulting teams, you're destroyed. That could be infantry, tanks, whatever. Remember, aircraft, it doesn't matter. They are never involved in an assault. Now, one thing you can't do is zigzag around. You just go the shortest route to get you away from the assaulting teams. So let me put this back. What I want to set up is this situation. So the tank go, the infantry go, you know what, we want to get out of here. So they made their counterattack. And the opponent decides, I want these to break off. So they move more than 4 inches away. And they're fine. They can continue the assault, so the assault is not over. But you can break those away. Now, if both of them decide to break away, then the assault is over. Because there's no more assaulting teams, or no more teams within 4 inches. The assault is over. They can now consolidate. So it isn't over until everybody breaks away or they are all destroyed, and I've already talked about that. So that's a special situation that maybe they go, my tanks can take care of these guys. My infantry, I want to keep them alive. We're going to move them back. And they're going to go back to here. They are out of the assault for the rest of this. They are still involved. And that's pretty much how you test a counterattack, how you counterattack, and how you break off.